I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to tell everyone to their face. I don't really care. I'm not trying to, like, pander to anybody. When it comes down to it, I'm a firm believer that Resident Evil 9 is going to be woke trash.
There we have it. You heard it here first. Pack it up, cancel your pre-orders because Resident Evil 9 is woke. At least it is according to this video that YouTube has unironically recommended to me. Probably because I'm watching too much Resident Evil content. What this is probably just a sad attempt to grift. I mean, this person has probably watched one critical drinker video and then thought to themselves, hey, I can do that. And they were absolutely right, because anyone can do that. So let us see why exactly Resident Evil 9 is going to be woke trash.
Resident Evil 9 is going to be absolute woke trash, mainly because, if you think about it, Resident Evil 8 wasn't that great. Resident Evil 8 sold itself off of vampires and werewolves.
And right from the get-go, we can see that this person is full of shit. Because Resident Evil 8 absolutely did not sell itself off the fact that there are going to be vampires and werewolves. The game sold itself on the fact that there are going to be goth bitches. They could be vampires, they could be robots, they could be fucking aliens and no one would care. Because they were fucking hot. And I can guarantee you, if this person had bought and played Resident Evil Village, he bought it for that exact reason. He bought it because of Lady Dimitrescu. And also, if you unironically thought that this game is going to have vampires and mythological creatures, then I don't know what to tell you. You have these 20 plus years of game franchise about fighting bioterrorism and suddenly mythological creatures are going to show up. Get out of here.
And then they just disappeared. Worse yet, Resident Evil 8, it fucking had a mecha battle in it, dude. It had a fucking mecha battle.
Yes, it did have a mecha battle. So what?
Yes, they added more stuff. Yes, it's not anywhere near, like, I guess you could say as bad as 7. Because, like, 7, it was like the first one where it was first person. I will give it that. But there was, like, barely any guns. That was my biggest issue, my biggest gripe with if I'm being all of Resident Evil 7.
Okay, at this point, I thought that this guy was trolling. Because Resident Evil Village, I can see why people would not like it. But Resident Evil 7 was everything a die-hard fan of the franchise could ask for. So you are going to complain that the survival horror game, which by definition means you have to count your resources, as you are very limited by basically everything, that this game didn't have too many weapons. And if you do not enjoy gameplay like that, that's fair. But like, why would you be a Resident Evil fan if that's the case? That's provided that this person actually enjoys this franchise and is not just a grifter.
You have to remember that Resident Evil 4 Remake came out after that. Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't want to rant too much about Resident Evil 4 Remake, but to be blunt, it's woke trash. Resident Evil 4 Remake is what you need to use as the standard for what Resident Evil 9 is going to be. Resident Evil 9 is going to be shit because Resident Evil 4, Leon becomes retarded as shit, even though he's 7 years in, multiple missions. Krauser was lost on a mission where Leon was with him, then Krauser disappeared. So this isn't like Leon's second mission ever, second task ever as a special agent after Resident Evil 2. Leon is not a rookie whatsoever.
I mean, I'd argue the Leon in the original is stupider, and that's fine, it's part of his charm. It's what makes the character so memorable and so iconic. He says and does dumb shit. If anything, they watered down his dumbness in the remake, because the remake is far more serious.
Then Ada is for some reason removed as, from her sexy red dress, even though her name is Ada Wong. So they removed a half Chinese woman from her traditional Chinese dress. I don't really see how the left, being, the left is retarded, doesn't understand how that is like cultural erasure, maybe? Because yes, it's a sexy red dress, but like you're taking her out of the sexy red dress. It's a traditional Chinese dress. And
oh no, they took away the red dress. I cannot goon to this version of Ada. The left, they took away my right to goon to video game characters. They can't keep getting away with it. Now, I'm aware that this person has probably never met a woman in their life, let alone a Chinese woman. And I might be completely wrong about this, but I do not think Chinese people necessarily have to wear traditional Chinese dresses all the time. But that's just my guess, especially not on like a mission, because Ada is there on a mission. She's a spy, she needs to move a lot, and I'm aware that this person probably does not do too much movement in their life, but having to perform backflips and shit in a dress like that would be very restricting. I'm aware that this person and people who watch videos like this are completely politically illiterate, because America is not a left-leaning country and Japan even less so, which this game was made in Japan. So I don't know what this person is on about. The only reason why Ada is dressed differently in the remake is that it's more realistic, and you can actually unlock the traditional Chinese dress after completing the DLC.
But then you find out that her skirt in the original Resident Evil 4 remake, her skirt isn't a skirt. There's a seam going through the center. So not only do they give her leggings so you can't see like a little panty shot, but they have a skirt that's not really a skirt. It's like shorts. I noticed that when I went to her like character model.
I can't goon to panty shots in video games. When you actually look up Ashley's skirt in the original game, or so I heard or read somewhere, not that I ever did it, she calls you a pervert and covers right away. The game is quite literally to your face calling you pathetic. You are being looked down upon, called a pervert while the woman is uncomfortable, obviously. You are undesirable for her. That is what the game is trying to convey. While it is true that porn is a lot less of a taboo in Japan than it is in traditional Western societies, at the same time, why do you think that the ugly bastard subgenre is so popular in the porn and hentai in Japan? Because this is how you are viewed by the creators. The creators view the consumer as pathetic. You get no play anywhere else, so you resort to animated characters and video game characters. This is something that always baffles me about all these right-wing grifters. If you're such a fighter for traditionalism, you should be fighting against revealing clothing on women in video games, because then you are thinking too much about video game titties instead of like conquering foreign nations.
And was like looking at, if I'm being honest, the jiggle physics of her tits, and I'm happy they added jiggle physics. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Jiggle physics were not in the original, therefore it should be bad that they added it into the remake. But I think at this point it is obvious that this person is just a gooner. They gooned too close to the sun.
That makes no sense. The biggest fuck you moment in the entire game is the very end of Resident Evil 4 when she hints, Resident Evil 4 remake, when she hints at Leon like, hey, why don't you become my private bodyguard, aka she wants to fuck Leon. Leon's response is, you don't need me, you can handle yourself. Even though the entire reason Resident Evil 4 remake exists is because she cannot handle herself.
I guess the idea of a polite rejection goes completely beyond this person's head, because they themselves have never been rejected politely. Anyone they've ever approached in their entire life always just goes for the pepper spray right away.
When Ada appears, pointing a gun at Leon, in the original, Leon disarms her and goes, oh look, it's Ada, the woman who betrayed me in Resident Evil 2, who apparently died in Resident Evil 2. Obviously she's involved. I'm not going to let her get away. She's answering my questions. That's the original. And then like her glasses were like a flashbang which allowed her to distract Leon to get away. The original does it well because Ada fucks with Leon, she's flirting, and she's a femme fatale. In the remake, the same kind of thing happens, but Leon just is like, you know what? We'll talk about this later. I have to go find Ashley. And he just lets her walk away.
Yes, he does exactly that, because his objective here is not to investigate who kidnapped Ashley or what happened. His objective is to find her and bring her home safely. Even in the original, Leon does not actually really want to fight anyone. He only fights in self-defense. And again, at this point he has already met Salazar, so he pretty much knows what is going on. There's no reason for him to go after Ada.
This Grace Ashcroft or Ashcroft, whatever the fuck her name is, I'm gonna be honest, there's a possibility Leon will die in Resident Evil 9. This apparently is going to be Leon's final game, like his farewell.
What is your source on that it's going to be Leon's final game? Because all about that is just speculation at this point. But again, that's provided this person actually knows anything about the franchise at all and it's not just trying to grift pretty unsuccessfully.
I'm going to say it right now. If this is the final game for Leon, which I don't see them killing off Leon, they may kill off Leon. I'm going to say that right now. They may, because they're stupid. They are dumb enough to kill off Leon. Even though he's like a moneymaker for these fuckers, they may kill off Leon. But if this is his final game, this Grace Ashcroft will essentially be his, she'll take over his mantle.
That's it, that's why the game is woke. Because Leon might die, which by the way is not going to happen. Leon is definitely not the first character to be retiring.
So if you're excited about Resident Evil 9, remember, these people are the ones who made Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Good. If it's the same people that made Resident Evil 4 Remake, good. That means the game is going to be good. Anyway, most of the video is just rambling about how Resident Evil 4 is woke and how Grace Ashcroft is apparently going to take over Leon. And that's it, you don't need to watch this person's video. Because once you saw one of these videos complaining about wokeness, you saw all of them. So I took it upon myself to save you from brain damage you would get from watching this. I mean, from 1 to 10 on the grifting scale, this was 2. It was rather tame and it didn't really make too many points. It almost felt like this person is just trying to grab on straws. And I think they even picked the wrong franchise. Because generally, even the grifters like Resident Evil, Capcom is playing it pretty safely. At first I even thought that this person is trolling, because their profile picture it looks pretty gay, to be honest. It looks like it was taken straight out of one of those gay dating simulator games. This would obviously be the DILF archetype. But apparently they're not, they're trying way too hard to grift with their other videos as well. This one was recommended to me for some reason, and because it's Resident Evil, I thought I might have something to say to this. But I cannot even really add anything, because it was just literally nothing. Resident Evil 9 is mentioned twice in this whole video. Obviously what these people want is more attention. And so instead of giving them the attention, what you can do is watch my video. So that way you can know generally what they're saying, what points are they making, if they're aware any. And you can actually hear some smart commentary about it, from me, because I am smart. I would even say I'm a genius. And that way you can actually get some good content and not give attention to grifters, so everybody wins. Except for them, of course. Anyway, if you enjoyed, leave a like. 1 like equals 1% less wokeness in video games. And hopefully I will see you next time.